Chapter 9, All on My Own. When I got home from school that day, I told my mom I was going to bake something all on my own. I didn't need anyone to do it with me. I was going to enter the contest by myself and win it all by myself, and without any disgusting raisin recipes that would just make people gag. She said that was okay, if it was what I really wanted. And she even mopped the kitchen floor so I could do all my mixing down there, since it was harder for me to sit on the countertop. Sometimes, when I got on and off the countertop, my clothes caught the cabinet knobs and tore. And this one time, when I was really little, I got caught on the knob and I just hung there until someone came and took me off the cabinet. Dad was supposed to change them so I wouldn't tear my clothes, but like I said, he could be a real slowpoke. She also said she wanted me to let her know before I used anything that could burn the house down. Why did that lady always think I was going to burn the house down? I worried about what Kayla said about being a baking contest and not a cooking contest. So I decided I better try making something that I had to be baked in the oven. I flipped through Mom's cookbooks until I got to a recipe that looked good. Chocolate cake with vanilla frosting. But you know what I figured would make that bad boy even tastier? How about chocolate cake with mint frosting? I washed my feet. Then I took out all the ingredients that I needed for the cake. Flour. I dropped it and a little spilled all over Mom's clean floor. Sugar. I may have also spilled a little. Cocoa powder, baking powder, oil, and eggs. I think I may have crushed a few, trying to take them out of the carton in the fridge with my feet. I placed everything neatly on the floor, on top of all the spills, and opened the drawer that held the measuring spoons and cups. All the drawers had good knobs that my toes could handle. I rummaged through them with my clean feet. I saw Mom peek around the kitchen corner. She was spying on me. Her eyes got all big too. When she saw the floor, then she left again. I carefully followed the recipe as I put all of the ingredients into the bowl. So here was the problem though. It's really hard to lift a measuring cup full of oil without spilling it. And now the oil was sort of mixing with the flour and the sugar and the flour, making everything very sticky. I mean, there were toe prints everywhere. If this were a crime scene, I wouldn't even need dusting powder or a magnifying glass to see them. When the time came to crack the eggs, I did it as carefully as I could with the shells held in my toes. I cracked them right into the cake mix and I smashed the eggs all over my toes. I put my feet down and peeked in the bowl. There were about 50 billion little shell pieces in there. I remembered a baking show I once watched. The fancy French chef on there said, it was nice to balance something soft with something crunchy. So I figured the eggshells would be okay because they added some crunch. Then I noticed that my eggy toes had gotten in the oily floor goop and they were becoming quite a mess. I washed them again, but it was like I was trying to wash glue off my feet. Mom peeked into the kitchen again. Doing okay? She asked. I'm doing great, I said. I am about to bake. Mom jumped into the room and turned the oven on. Then she looked down at the mess on the floor, but somehow managed to not say anything about it. Mom really has self-control. Then Mom helped me put the cake in the oven. While we waited for the cake to bake, we watched our favorite baking show, Jake's Rake Cake Snake Bake. Basically, some people on the show had to try to bake cakes while snakes slithered around the kitchen. And the only baking tool the contestants were allowed to use was a garden rake, which they also sometimes used to fight the snakes off. It was the best show ever. Dad got home from work and watched an episode with us. I really like it when they bring out the anacondas, said Dad. I liked it when that woman distracted the snakes with her egg bait, I said, and they both agreed with me. After a little while, something started to smell, and let me tell you, it was not a very good smell. Mom pulled the cake out of the oven. It was all flat in the middle and kind of burnt on one end. I mixed up my minty frosting anyways, and I frosted it after it cooled. And now came the time to test the cake that was going to win the baking contest. Except it definitely wasn't going to win the baking contest because it was disgusting. Dad gave me a funny look while he chewed. Interesting, Sheebs. What's crunchy in here? Eggshells, I said. And Dad covered his mouth with his hand, but I could still tell he was gagging. Honey, did you forget the baking powder? Mom asked. Darn it, I forgot the baking powder. Is this what you're entering in the baking contest? Dad asked, forcing down a gulp. I shook my head. I can't enter this. It tastes like poop. Then I ran to my room and cried because I knew I could never win the contest, and my friends were mad at me, and my whole life was a shambles. Thanks for reading with me tonight. I hope you join me again tomorrow as we continue reading our book, Aven Green Baking Machine. Have a great night, and don't forget to be safe, respectful, and responsible, and go Hawks!